What's going on here? What's this? It's a lead weight of one of the bikes. What? So this video is going to be about mods and maintenance. And maintenance is driving me crazy. The wheel weight on the GSXR has just dropped off sitting in the shed. It's a brand new tyre as well, so you can put two and two together there. They didn't clean the surface of the rim clean enough for the double-sided tape to stick. And it's a big deal really, because when you consider it, I know this is the back tyre. This is an S23 I took off the TLR because I went on a country ride and I didn't want to square it off. So I put a T33, more of a touring tyre on it for that trip. Because squaring off on these roads over here, you burn up a rear tyre pretty easily. But having weights on them is critical for the long life of the tyre. You don't want to get all scallops, and the size of the tyre, what I was trying to demonstrate, that's a huge piece of gears spinning around, and if it's out of balance, I used to be in the bus and truck game for 25 years, and we used to say, oh, has it thrown a weight? Because you could get all this horrible scalloping on the steer tyres, especially. But if I look really carefully at it, I can see the witness mark where this was actually stuck on. So looking really closely, I can stick it back on, and I'll keep an eye on it, because I don't really want to spend half a day going back to the tyre shop to get the wheel rebalanced. Okay, another drama. I have these quick release indicators on the busa that I deliberately did for take it to the track, disconnect. Front indicators on the HAYABUSAs, obviously, are integrated in with the fairing, so they're all right, but you just want to clean up the rest of the bike. These are just these beautiful enduro type indicators, but the thing is just cracked in just sitting here. So that's sad. Actually, along with the Kawasaki again, the rubber boots on the standard indicators just snapped, or just perished and fell off while the bike was parked under a cover, under the bike cover. And these things are expensive. There's a standard Kawasaki indicators were over $100 each. So I've changed them to a newer LED version with a bit of a modification to get them to fit. But this is amazing, everything just falling apart. I bought some new fuel caps, like a quick release or a no key version, because the TLR's cap broke. It's old, it's corroded, and it just snapped. This is what you get. So hopefully this will tidy it up, and lighter too. It is amazing how heavy. So okay, you remove the key, great, you just can undo it quickly. But the weight saving is quite a surprise. I didn't realise until I took the caps assemblies off the fuel tanks that I'm doing, that I never realised on how heavy the caps have to be for the locking barrel and all that. And then it gets me onto the fuel tank. It's been soaking again, upside down, to just get that rust on the top surface, and I'm about to take it outside and clean it all up. But both tanks have come up beautifully with the product Metal Rescue, and there's a few other products out there as well, and I would use them. I wouldn't use the vinegar. I used it on the black tank first, but it's not as good as the proper professional products. 100%. So I've got to clean that up. Now let's do mods. I'm trying to do mods, but all these things that keep falling apart in front of me. I got rid of the dinner plate off the TLR, and it's now got a nice Alpha USA made lightweight rotor, and I saved some weight out of that. And this is where the TLR is going to go. I'm not going to worry about trying to make performance out of the bike, really. Just try and improve it a little bit, and try and improve the weight, or I should say reduce the weight, because I think that's its main bugbear, except for the rear shock, and that's big dollars. That'll have to come later. So rear shock in the future, and any sort of weight savings I can do in the meanwhile is my aim for the TLR. So I've already weighed the brake rotor to the old one. So we got that. And I just want to show you some of the other things about the weight of this TLR. This ABS plastic, it seems to be thicker than the HAYABUSA, and the GSXR aftermarket fairing is beautiful. It was a joy to work with. It was no drama at all, and it's thin and it's light and it fits. And the Gen 1 is no problem, but the TLR seems to be extra thick when they made it in those days. Don't know what was going on there. But here's the scale, and I just demonstrate TLR, okay? We'll just hook it on there and we'll see what we get. I'm going to talk kgs here, because that's what it's for. So it's 1.17. So how about if we weigh a Motor Composites Gen 1 hump cover with the standard under plate mount setup. So it's plastic and the little steel section there. And this is off my busa there. And just hook it onto that there. And the weight is 0.72. 0.72. And that's the thing. The carbon fibre is great, but unfortunately I can't seem to see anybody manufacturing the TLR stuff in carbon fibre anymore. I don't even know if they did it. I still can find 1 or 2 companies making fiberglass stuff, but carbon fibre stuff doesn't seem to be available anymore. Little by little it can really add up. But we'll just chip away at it. Like the lawn mowing man next to me. He's making a hell of a racket. And just like that, done. But results first. And we went for a short ride up to a country town as well, but I'll get to that in a minute. But the results, the K6 tank is now being treated again with a metal rescue, and top and bottom, it's all nice and clean. It's so good compared to the way it was. So beautiful K6, legendary bike, hey? The tank is good. Now, weights for the rotor. I saved 0.38 kgs of the rear rotor swap, or 13 ounces. Fuel cap's on. Let's have a look at this. New fuel cap is on. Here's the brand there, like there. I can't pronounce these type of words, but there you go. That's Italian, bit of Italian flair. To open it, you push down the centre and you got the centrepiece. I was worried about it because sometimes I saw a video of one guy in the States, fast lane D, with all these trick looking sports bikes, and he had weeping fuel from his cap, so I was extra careful trying to get it just right. One of the threads didn't really want to, I tested the threads with the screws first, and one of them was picking up, so I had to just run through an M5 tap just to make sure the threads were clean. I didn't want to strip any threads. So here's the old one. Still a bit corroded, but it still works. So we'll give this a go. Bit of Italian flair for the TLR. It looks good. It's nice. Yeah, so we went for a run up into the country town just after Christmas. We have strict policing over here, and every Christmas, New Year break, we have double demerit points for our licences. So if you get caught speeding, the penalties are doubled. So everything is very quiet. You know, you'd be foolish to risk your licence just for a few kilometres. We had a young fellow, he's just on his learner permit, getting some miles. And that's another thing. For my viewers from the States, in Australia, licensing is stepped up. You just can't go and buy a 1000 or a HAYABUSA. No way, not allowed. You've got to start on a power to weight ratio bike. They call them a LAMS approved bike. There used to be up a limit a long time ago in the 80s when they brought it all in. It was up to 250cc limit rather than go and buy a Kawasaki Z900 like we had. You would have to be restricted to a 250. But the trouble was the Yamaha 250s and the 350s had swappable barrels, and so you could run around on a 350 instead of a 250 and it still looked the same. So they finally woke up to all that, so then they brought out a power to weight ratio formula so that bigger guys could fit on a bike that was a bit bigger than a little 250 as well. So that's what's happened, and you've got to run like that for 2 years on a restricted bike before you can get your open licence, and each time you have to step up with a riding test. And we could go into that a lot more, but so we just went for a country run. We went up to, for my Australian viewers, up to Peter Brock's memorial site where he was tragically killed in a motor event. So we just stopped there for a moment and then just carried on. And here we are in the historic town of 2J. And you can see the town just survives on weekend motorbike riders. Peter Brock's memorial spot where he was killed. On a corner. Was it this corner? Into a tree. There's a plaque somewhere. At the moment he was there. One of those Targa West rally closed off the roads and he ran off the road. Kevin's my name, KJ's Moto. We'll see you guys in the next one.